it's absolutely breaking down the perfection state within me, and it's slowly killing it more and more, and it's like this ongoing journey to kill that fucking motherfucker, because it's perfection slows me down. Welcome to Reflections 15. My name is Josh Moxey, and it's cool that we've hit 15 episodes of this shit. This week is my longest streak of consecutively doing it. Before it was 1 to 7, now it is 8 to 15. So I'm pleased with that. That feels nice. And just in case you don't know what Reflections is, I sit down on my Sundays and I reflect on my week, and I do this in Google Docs, and I like go through certain questions and ask myself these questions, and then I respond to them. And after I'm done that, I like to get on video and record the highlights of that and just share like a few key insights, a few key takeaways from those specific categories. And it's a cool way of just like documenting my week in a video form, and just a lot of good shit that comes from it. Whether it's like I can extract micro content from it and take it to social, and ultimately the main part is of course just like documenting what's going on in my week, how I'm growing, how I'm learning, what is working, what isn't, and just like showing my progress in whatever areas I care about talking over time. So without further ado, let's get right into this week's episode. Yay! It's been 6 months since I started Greek God. And Greek God, by the way, is by Greg O'Gallagher, Toronto local represent. And Greek God has been just absolutely incredible. I have never enjoyed fitness so much. It's been almost 2 years since I started working out, and it'll be 2 years soon. And the last 6 months have been so enjoyable lifting weights. I had no idea how much fun it would become with this system and like all of it. So I'm so glad that I've kept up with this. My strength has definitely increased over this time, and it's really cool. Like whether it's fucking my bench press going up almost 50 pounds. I think it'll be almost 50 pounds soon. I think it's at 45 right now. And as of, I think tomorrow, it should be 50 pounds up, which is fucking sweet, going from 105 to 155 for 5, of course. And actually, that's not of course. It is in Greek God world and Kino body world, though, because we don't really do the whole 1 rep max thing. It's more of an ego thing that I am not too interested in. And yeah, I love Greek God so much. I'm having so much fun with it, and it's amazing to watch the strength increases, which ultimately create muscle. So it's just a pretty simple system, and it's just been so much fun. So I'm really glad I kept with it, and I am excited to do another 6 months of this shit, and we'll see where I'm at for that. And literally just trying to get fucking ripped forever after next year with others as well. So I'm excited to do that. For a gift and print, I worked on this really cool modal UI, if you will. So it got really hacky, but it's kind of like when you go to Instagram and you like see, and this is on a web, when you're looking at on a web, your desktop or your laptop or whatever, on a big scale screen. And so you're going to Instagram.com, you go to a photo or whatever, you'll see a pop-up if you navigate it from like the profile or whatever. But if you like refresh, you'll see it's not really a pop-up, it's its own page now. And that's kind of what a modal is, like the pop-up, if you will, for that. So I had to create a version of that for a gift and print, and I was doing it really hacky before, but in a like weird hacky way. This is also a hacky way, the way I ended up achieving this look of like only pop up if you navigate to it within the app within the web app, rather than going straight to it. And I know I'm aware this is probably going over so many people's heads because I'm not explaining this well, but it was just really cool to be able to like hack together this thing, and it's one of the main reasons I ended up wanting to go through React Router and doing React, like I said a couple of episodes ago, which is like React Router is just so fucking cool. I love it so much, and like the single page application and all of these and just the way it all works is just, I love it so much. So that was really cool to actually take the time to properly do it instead of this weird hacky thing I was doing with lists. So it was, yeah, I liked how it came out. Posted 3 times on social media. That was interesting. It's super uncomfortable for me to post all of this quote unquote inspirational shit, but it's just how the way I fucking think. And like, I think 2 of the posts almost were like that, about just embracing the fact that like, yeah, this is how I think. This is not me trying to be a guru or a coach or any of that fucking shit. I just want to just be true to me and just share what the fuck is on my mind. Share my journey, share what I'm learning. It's fascinating to me. So, and like, I don't know what else I would post, because this is how I am. Like, it's not a fucking choice. It just is the way I am. So it was really cool to get 3. I haven't done 3 in a week in such a long time, just because I've been so resistant to creating content on social. So that was really important to me that I got those 3 out, and just, yeah, it was just really cool. Related to micro content and social media, I'm just glad that I take the time to actually continue posting on social, because it's very, very uncomfortable for me. So I don't like want to, but I know I have to in order to grow. So that, just to continue persevering with that, as uncomfortable as it is for me, I respect that in myself a lot. So I'm proud of how I've handled that this week, and how I'll continue to handle that going forward with things. I made some good progress on Infinity, and Infinity is where it's going to just house the NimSam stuff, which is really fucking cool to think about how close that is. And I'm just really working to be imperfect with this website and really hacking it together fast, which is strange for me. I usually like to create these elegant systems, but just to take the time to do it in an urgent manner and in an effective manner, it's actually like strange, but it feels good. So I'm really enjoying the work I'm doing right there. It's coming out quite well, actually. It's like I said it before, it's based on VaynerMedia's website is like what I'm basing the design on. So I'm enjoying how that's going a lot. Hit a nice PR with incline bench press. It was 150 times 6, which means next week, based on my numbers, next week being tomorrow, I should be able to hit 155 times 5. And that'll be exciting to hit that. Three areas of progress I want to hit next week, or just in general. I just need to get shit done in these areas. Lists, JMR, which is Josh Moxey Radio, and gems. These 3 things have been like, I want them done so bad. Unfortunately, they're not the chief priority right now, so I haven't been making the proper time. But I feel like they should get added on the power list just so I can make that proper time, because they have to get done. But I'm taking my sweet ass time on them, and it's driving me a little bit insane. So want to get those done very soon. Squeezing out every second of the day. I have not done a good job in recent memory of squeezing out every second of every minute of every hour of etc. Don't really care. The point I'm trying to make right here is like, we have so many hours in a day, 16 to 18, something like that, depending on how much you sleep. But there is all this time that is so wasted. And for me, I definitely waste time. I'm not going to sit here like and pretend like I work fucking every minute, because I definitely don't. I wish I did. That would be a magical thing, but I definitely don't. And I just want to do a better job of squeezing out every minute. There's so much more that I can create, produce, progress with during my time that I'm awake, that I am just throwing out the fucking window. And like, how stupid is that? Also, how fucking stupid is the term of wasting or killing time? Why the fuck would you kill? You wouldn't sit there and be like, yo, I want to go kill some money. Yeah, you would with time. And that makes no fucking sense because time is infinitely more valuable than money. You can make another $20. You can't make up another 20 minutes. It's fucking gone when it's gone. So why would you sit there and throw out the idea of wanting to kill time? It's just absolutely stupid. So fuck that. Anyways, that's a little bit of a rant right there. But I can like feel, by the way, when I go into those moments, I'm like, I feel like this is going to be a micro content clip for social, which is very interesting, that mindset right there. But fuck that. I don't want to be that person that's sitting there and just killing time. It's our most valuable asset. So let's fucking use it and maximize its potential rather than sitting there and killing time or throwing it out the window. It's just ludicrous to me. Adding more urgency. I started out this week with a lot of urgency, and it went like on Monday I was fucking full of urgency. It was really good. But like as the week went on, I became less urgent, and I became a little bit more lazy, which is not really an ideal thing, especially in this moment right now, because things are tight around here. We've got to really crank out some results, and me being lazy is not in the best interest of things right now. So where was I going with this? Urgency, yes. So, and I'm going to talk about this in the lessons, but it is just crucial to make sure I'm creating urgency within myself, because it's absolutely a controllable thing based on your mindset. Doing more above my power list. This is related to the lack of urgency. When I am not working at full urgency, I can make my power list take all fucking day. What is it called? The Parkinson's law. Essentially, it's whatever time you allocate is how much something is going to take. So with me, when I'm mentally thinking about the power list and thinking like, oh yeah, I can let it drag out all day, it does. So, and it's really fucking stupid. So doing more above my power list is absolutely what is required. And when I'm letting it drag out all day, it's not helpful to things. Even though it is about effectiveness and not working all day, there's still a requirement to do more above the power list, because the power list is only doing, like, it is doing a ton, but there's more is required than just the power list. I'll just put it like that. Being less reachable and being on my phone less. This is I'm gonna probably keep talking about this until I fix this, and that is, I'm on my phone too much. I like social media. I like messaging. I like DMs. It's all fun to me. It's like I enjoy the interactions with people. Don't really know what else to say there. I just do. So it's been a battle to like, there's just part of me that always wants to check my phone. It's pretty fucking toxic. And at the same time, not toxic, because it's like, it's human connection. So for me, I love and hate my phone so much. Recharging myself up midday. I don't know about you, but for me, if I'm not dividing my days in twos, I can kind of like go in this manner of starting out high, and then like crashing midday. And it's like, my emotions go everywhere. It's fucked. I am not very high on energy. It's a very weird state. So midday, I would like to implement something like maybe meditation, maybe a nap, so like a biphasic schedule for sleep, reconnecting with my dream board and my vision, what have you. Whatever that thing is, I think it's very important to midday recharge yourself up to make sure you're back on that high level so you can continue to dominate for the rest or the second half of your day. Vanity metrics like likes, comments, shares, views, downloads, etc., they are not related to how the actual content is progressing. For me, my podcast, I heard this from Gary a couple weeks ago, and it's just been ringing in my head. It's like those numbers, you could have like great numbers and then they like tail off or whatever. and your content could be better than ever. But if you're so attached to what those numbers are and like totally basing what you think the content or how it's progressing on those numbers, it is a deadly place. For me specifically, this is happening right now where like on my podcast, my numbers are decreasing right now, and it's incorrect based on the way my content is. I am creating better content than I ever have because I'm trying to improve, and things are improving. My communication is becoming more effective. I am closing the gap on certain times. I am leading with trying to bring value rather than what I was leading with before, which is like just documenting. It's my chief intent is always just to bring value to the people who are listening and people who are watching, because like I don't want to waste your fucking time. It just doesn't feel right to me. So with that being said, I think it's very important to take them separately. Like, I am more pleased with my content than I've ever been before, and I know it's headed in the right direction, yet my numbers on my podcast would disagree, and that's totally fine. Like, it just plays out in the long term, and I've just got to keep sticking with this, and I'll eventually continue to improve more and more and more and more, and the numbers will eventually follow. Urgency or lack of urgency in any given moment is solely based on perspective. For me, I find when I lose urgency, like I was talking about earlier, it is because I'm not focused on the right things. When I am charged up, when I am focused on a vision, on a goal, and I am totally lined up with where I want to go, it's very specific, clear, defined, and I am totally aligned with it, and I can feel it, the urgency is there. And when I'm not, when I'm focused on different things that are not goals, that are not growing me, that are not expanding me, when I'm not focused on any timelines whatsoever, all of the stuff that's opposite of the things I just said, that's when I start to feel a lack of urgency, when I start to feel a little bit lazy, when I can just feel like it's not, it's a different sense. There's like no fire there. And fire is like a dangerous game, but having a little bit of internal fire, not even a little bit, having a lot of internal fire, if it's channeled in the right way and not burning you, is very fucking effective. And it's a fine balance, because like patience and urgency are just like, the challenge with that is like, we do have all the time in the world and we don't have all the time in the world. So it's like, they seem like they're clashing, but it's like the magic in between that makes all the difference. Creating content, and micro content for that matter, is so much easier when you're focused on the right people, and it is so much harder when you're focused on the wrong people. For me, I find that it's easier to create content when I keep thinking of specific types of people or specific people who I know are going to find value in this, and I know it is the point of making it for. So ideally, you are focused on the people who are your niche on Instagram. And I'm talking about when you're treating this as and you're treating social media as as a professional thing, as a like business, rather than just a casual user or whatever. So for me, I am focused on, first off, the people who are already following me, who I know I can bring value to, and I know who will appreciate the stuff I'm putting out. So that's one. Another one is my future niche. So I haven't done a good job of clearly defining my niche yet, but the people who I know will do that. And it's like pushing away the people that aren't that and bringing those people in by being polarizing, by just being real and totally different to what it's just like, it's not going to be for most of the people that are currently following me. So it's like every time I'm putting out content, I am almost like aiming to push people away to make room for those new people who are my niche, these are the people I want to be following me long term. They're people that are like me. These are going to be my future customers. Like, these are the people that I actually want to be in my Instagram community, if you will. So it's a lot easier to create content and to get the fuck out of your own way when you're focused on bringing the people value that are in your niche, for example. So be very cautious of who you're focused on while you're creating that content, because it can really for me personally, it's definitely held me back in some certain ways when I start thinking about specific people, and like I wouldn't be making content for them, but they were just in the back of my mind and stuff like that. But when I like push them aside and be like, almost like aim to offend them, if you will, not by like going out of my way to offend, but just like being raw and real and knowing that they probably won't appreciate that, that's totally fine. I just want them to leave if they're not part of my niche. That's an interesting way of thinking about Instagram and Facebook and all this shit. So hope that brought a little value to you. 3-minute podcasts that are just very, very short and to the point. This was inspired by The Daily Stoic, I think it's called, which is a podcast by Ryan Holiday where he reads the email that he sends out on a daily basis, which is based on Stoicism, and it has like a little quick, passage from a Stoic text or Stoicism text. I forget which is the proper one to choose right there, but I can do this type of thing, and I'm always getting so caught up that I want to make like a minimum of 5 minutes, usually closer to like 8, maybe 10 minutes type of thing. And of course these run really long, but these are not supposed to be, they're just not supposed to be long or short. They're just what needs to be. But I forget that sometimes I can just do like, I can create more volume if I'm spreading these little quick messages. And I might start doing this because I want to fill in more content between reflections and my other types of videos. So it would be cool to have these like little tiny segments, and let me know if that would interest you. I'm very intrigued by the idea of it, and I might like read out a quote and expand on it real quick, or I might just like share something that's going on in my day-to-day and like a lesson I'm learning for it. Who knows? But just like the idea that I can create little short pieces of content and it not be a massive video is very relieving to me. Moving fast and breaking things is actually very fun, and it's insanely effective as well. So for me, I can get very caught up, and I was talking about this a little bit earlier. I can get a little bit caught up in creating this like perfect system or this perfect product or this perfect design, when in reality, if it's things like software, it doesn't necessarily need to be, especially with software, you can create a very hacky version, a very buggy version, and just get it out there and continue to improve on it. For me, I'm using this with Infinity right now, and it's absolutely breaking down the perfection state within me, and it's slowly killing it more and more, and it's like this ongoing journey to kill that fucking motherfucker, because it's perfection slows me down. And of course you are obviously striving for excellence and doing a phenomenal job, but at the same time striving for perfection is a very dangerous game, because that doesn't really exist. It's kind of a subjective thing. So for me, when I'm using this with Infinity, I am doing a different job than I normally would, which is like, usually I'd create this elegant system and make sure it's all like super dynamic and easy to use and almost like a web app, but I'm treating it very differently, and it's very imperfect, and I'm looking to just move fast instead of move slow and make it perfect. It's still going to be good, and that's important to me, but it's not going to be perfect, and it's going to be hacky, and I can update it later. That's the thing. I can always improve it down the line and change things and make it a perfect system, if you will. Again, subjective, still not going to be perfect, but I can improve upon it in the future if it requires that. And it probably won't. That's the thing. Like, I tend to create these narratives where it's like, I need this fucking perfect thing, and it'll change everything, and it doesn't. I don't think it usually works like that. So I was irritated at the fact that my numbers were a little bit off last week and leading into this week as well in terms of working out. And what that came from, I think, was exhaustion. My muscles were not operating at full capacity, so my numbers decided to go down. And it comes from that Montreal trip, because I wasn't sleeping as well as I should have been. And that's just such an important aspect of working out, is the sleep part of things. And I was neglecting that, so my numbers were suffering accordingly. And now I know in the future that if my numbers aren't so great from maybe like a trip or what have you, it's usually how it goes. It's like if I fuck up on sleep or if I go to a certain rave or whatever, my numbers just seem to decline for some reason. And that's, I think, why the sleep aspect of it and the lack of regeneration and restoration. So if my numbers are doing this again, I'm going to now know that it might just be that my body's exhausted and I need just some time, and it returns the strength. It doesn't go away permanently. It's just like a temporary thing, which is really nice. It's not the muscles, it's like the body, which is amazing because I don't want to lose strength, but I'm okay if it has to go away just for a couple of days or whatever. I realized that I have some work to do around feeling unwanted and unloved. Like, these are some of my least favorite feelings in the world. And it's just, it's so silly to think about on a rational level. But on a pattern level, I've just realized that I have more work to do there. I have a pattern that has not clearly been resolved, or else I wouldn't feel these things. And I think it is from my dad growing up. And no shade to my dad. He was working his ass off and he would get so exhausted. But he would come home and he would spend, okay, yes, regeneration after you come home from work, but there was just too much time in front of the TV, in my opinion. And I wouldn't change any of the way it went down. I'm super okay with the way it happened. And I would not change the past whatsoever in this aspect. But his desire to be in front of the TV instead of like hanging out with me, I think really hurt me on a subconscious level. Again, I wouldn't want to change this because I like the way things have played out so far. But I think this is what I've chosen, which is from that experience to feel unloved and unwanted. This is getting real fucking deep. And my mom loved the shit out of me, and it's insane how much she loves me. And of course dad loves me as well, but it's just like on another level with mom. But so that's what I took from that. And I've noticed that I think this fucking pattern of fearing, avoiding the feelings of being unwanted and unloved. So like, I feel like this is manifesting in like career and work and relationships and all these different areas because I haven't tackled the pattern yet. And where was I going with this? Yeah, so like I will literally, for me, like for rejection, I don't want to, so like for a contest or whatever, I won't even bother with certain contests because I don't want that feeling of rejection. So like it's deadly. So I can go a million different ways with this, but these patterns can really dictate a lot of things in our life if we don't confront them and heal them. And I've got a million different ways I can work on this, which is great. And at the same time, I'm just watching how it's dictating so much of my life right now and holding me back. So I absolutely have to tackle this because this pattern is not something that is empowering to me and will hold me back if I continue to let it. So that's gotta be addressed. It's so weird talking about that on camera, by the way, and absolutely no shade to my dad. Love him, and it is just the truth. He did not make the proper, like I have memories of just like wanting to go outside and play hockey to train or whatever, and he would just want to watch TV, and that's whatever. But yeah, clearly I don't feel great about it still, but it is the past, and positive things came from this, so I'm not too concerned about it now. And at the same time, I still don't like the memory too much. So What the Fuck remixes, these things are fucking glorious. That whole album is great. It's insane. They're all for one fucking song, and that's Hero Bus What the Fuck. And yeah, my favorite so far, Pierce's, Ivory's, mastodons, subtronics, and that's just 4 out of the 9. Like, they're all so good. So I love those a lot. Oh god, I'm absolutely obsessed with this testimonial design I created for Infinity. It is so beautiful. I'm just absolutely in love with the way it looks. It's so nice. All right, that has been 15 episode. Oh, what do you call it? 015 of Reflections, and I appreciate you watching, listening. It's been super cool to continue this streak, and I'm enjoying the way this is going. I also am pumped to start taking the time to create micro content from this, because I haven't. I've just been using the other videos for some reason and not these, which are like, these are micro content fucking gold for me. If you found value in this at all, please do me a favor, share it with a friend, and give that thing a like or a comment or a rating or whatever you're on right now. Just some sort of engagement would be super awesome if you thought it was worth it. Anyways, my name is Josh Moxey, and I will catch you later.